The South Korea-U.S. free trade agreement, while it's clearly mutually beneficial for both sides, President Trump begs to differ. Turning a blind eye to obvious facts, he insists Korea has much more to gain from the current deal. In response, talks are planned to discuss possible amendments. Oh Soo-young starts us off with the upcoming trade representatives meeting.
It looks like the South Korea-US free trade agreement could soon be back on the drawing board. South Korea's Trade Ministry says Seoul and Washington's Joint Committee on the Treaty will hold a special session on Tuesday in the South Korean capital. Trade Minister Kim Yeon-jong and his US counterpart Robert Lighthizer will open the discussions via video conference, and additional senior-level talks will follow. The US says its trade representative requested the session last month to consider possible amendments regarding market access in South Korea for US businesses, but most importantly, to address the trade imbalance between the two countries. The Trump administration has repeatedly pointed the finger at South Korea's trade surplus with the US, which amounted to roughly $27 billion in 2016. President Trump himself has labeled the trade pact a horrible deal, calling for revisions to create a level playing field for US companies in Korea, as well as protect American manufacturing. However, figures from the US Trade Representative Office show US shipments of manufactured goods to South Korea had actually grown by 8.4% by 2015, compared to 2011, the year before the FTA took effect. That's double the average pace of growth that America saw in its exports to other countries over the same period. Also, with the US economy being largely service-oriented, as opposed to Korea's comparative advantage in manufactured goods, its service surplus with Korea recorded some $10.7 billion last year, an on-year jump of 30%. In terms of jobs, the figures show America benefited from the creation of 2.6 million jobs in the private sector by 2015, roughly 4 years into the agreement. Seoul's Trade Ministry says it will continue to highlight the mutual benefits of the bilateral pact seen over the past 5 years in trade, investment and employment, and that it would seek the best possible solution after objectively reviewing the treaty's impact on both sides. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.